Hey guys, it's Joey up here. How are you guys doing? Right, so it's good to see you all here, and we've lots of questions that came in from our Telegram channel, from our chats, from our Facebook group. So I thought I'll take the opportunity here to answer some of them. And if you guys are have questions, you can comment right here on Instagram, or you can comment right now. I'm broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Okay, so I can see there's Sunny Young and Agnes is live right now, posting some questions. So go ahead and post in the comment section right here, and I will try my best to answer as many as possible. Okay, so go ahead and post your questions right here in the comment section. All right. So I'm going to go through a couple of things here first. All right, because I do have some presentation slides here that I've prepared. Let me see if I could see it right here. All right. Okay. Good. So you guys can see the slides that I've prepared. Okay. I'm gonna go through some of this, and at the same time, if you have any questions, go ahead and post it on the comment section. I could see Sajida, Darna. Hello, Darna. Thanks for logging in. I haven't been using StreamYard for some time now, so a lot of new features here I'm also exploring at the same time. Okay, so what's happening today is that there'll be three short sessions. Firstly, your top and most helpful questions. So I've extracted a lot of this from our Facebook group and our Telegram, and also at the same time, during our 5-part boot camp, there were a lot of questions going on in the chat, and so my team have extracted a couple that I'll be answering here as well. And then I'm going to go through the FAQs about BaZi Academy. As you know, today is the second last day of our enrollments, and then enrollments will close for 1 year. All right, so this is the final 2 days. If you have not already done so, please enroll in the BaZi Academy 2025. It's going to be the most life transformational training program ever on metaphysics. I think is worth a look. Okay, so and then I'm going to open the floor for questions. Okay, so I can see Lainey, Zabat, Rich, Enriquez, Elaine Chan all logging in. Hello, everyone. Okay, so also for those of you who are listening in from Telegram, you can also connect with me face to face right here on Facebook or in YouTube. Okay, so let's go through the questions. Part one will be your top and most helpful questions from the chat, Telegram groups, and Facebook groups. So here is Lee HK's question. Some of these I actually answered in Telegram. Some of these I actually answered on Facebook group. Some I don't know where I answered it, but I thought these are great questions. So I'm going to post it here again and give you all the answer, because this one will be on YouTube. So you guys can actually rewatch this at any time. Okay. So I joined this event with a friend after day one, and we swapped our charts and read each other's. What I found was that I was very biased when I read my own chart, likewise for her as well. But in the end, we both agreed that having someone read your own chart was more accurate. How can I change this so that I don't need to depend on someone reading for me? In time, you will become better. Okay, everyone starts off when they read their own chart is a little bit biased. All right. So because you know yourself, and then when you read the chart, some information you obviously will be more biased towards certain things, right? You look at the bad things and go, nah, I'm not like that, right? So when someone else reads your chart, they are more unbiased. But as you improve in your readings over time, you will be able to see your chart in a more unbiased way. This is a natural progression for everyone who is doing BaZi. So please do not worry about it. Okay, especially if you're going through the BaZi Academy, there are so many modules. Each modules will bring you deeper into the study and the art of BaZi. All right, so you will go deeper into it, and you understand different aspects, and you will be able to see your chart more. And always, if you practice on reading other people first, it's a better approach because you're unbiased when you read other people's chart. And then when you gain the technique, then you read your own chart, you get a bigger picture. Okay. I'm pretty sure you have many friends, right? You can read charts for anybody. And also, I think when you're starting out in your reading, don't give yourself too much pressure. Like, oh, I've got to know everything. I got to memorize everything. You know, I don't want to make mistakes. No, be okay with making mistakes. Everyone starts, you know, as a beginner. You know, every master that you see today was once a beginner, right? You know, as they say, every master was once a disaster when they first started. So if you have to, you know, I said this in part of our training a couple of days ago, that there must be a willingness to pay the price. And the price for becoming a good consultant is the willingness to be a bit silly or a bit weird or a little bit embarrassed when you first start. Okay, that's the price you pay. So have fun, you know, be willing to make some mistakes. That's the price you pay for becoming a good practitioner. So if you're like, oh, you know, I cannot make my mistake, I'm always perfect, you're that sort of personality, then you won't learn parts. You won't be able to master parts. You won't master any art. Okay, so it's important that you have your that mindset of a beginner. Even if you're a very seasoned practitioner, you got to be okay with making some mistakes. Okay, remember, you're not making a prediction, right? No, you're not saying, you know what, next June 27 you're gonna die, right? Who's gonna say shit like that, right? Don't do that, right? So it's not, you don't have to tell precisely which day something happened. Nobody can do that. Okay, nobody can do that with 100% accuracy. All right, so Parzer doesn't do that. If you expect Parzer to do that, you're probably adding a lot of psychic powers into it, and there are not that many great psychics who can actually do that. If you're a psychic and you're a Parzer, maybe certain dates will mean they can give you that sort of level of accuracy, but otherwise, no, you can say, you know, next year this sort of energy, or this month this sort of energy, this sort of opportunities. That's it. Okay, you can have broad strokes. This is easier to actually do the reading. And plus, personality analysis is very straightforward. Is it a yes or no? Right? So that's it. You don't think that you have to go and give predictions and all that. You're not a psychic. Just remember that. Okay. All right. So next ones are here. And now, guys, if you have a question, go ahead and post it here. I will do the open the floor for questions from your side. The moment I finish all three parts of my short presentation today. Okay, so this one, Samantha. Samantha says, if my chart suggests financial struggles, does that mean I'll always have money problems, or can I turn things around? Definitely, you can turn things around. It's a question of mastering the right skill set. Okay, so from the parts of the chart, you want to find out what is the cause for the financial struggles, right? What's the cause? After you understand the cause, then what sort of skill set do I need to learn to overcome those problems? Okay, so it's a simple thing, right? That's the whole reason you study parts. It's like getting a CT scan or an MRI scan to find out where the problem is, and then you're going to prescribe a solution. And the solution often is about something that you do or stop doing, right? Remember I said in the class that there are two ways to change your life. That is when something new come into your life, or when something new come out of your life. Two ways, okay? So do these two things and things will change, all right? So it's not destined that you'll be poor financially because you have these issues. You're poor financially because you lack certain skills, or you don't really connect so well with certain financial numbers. You can change that, you can learn that, or you can get someone to help, So generally, I can tell you personally, I don't like looking at my financial numbers, although I studied accounting. But I really don't like putting the books together and balancing the accounts. I mean, like, every time I looked at that, I just fall asleep. So what I do, I get good financial people to work in my team, and they hand me all these documents in a way that I can understand. Okay. So you may say, yeah, but now that's because you have money now, you can hire them. Yeah, but I didn't start off with money. I start off doing it myself, and then I get a third party. You build it up over time. Okay. The problem with people is they expect things overnight. Like, okay, if I do this tomorrow, I'll be successful. It doesn't work that way. It takes a bit of time for you to, understand parts, hire the right people. If you either learn the skill yourself, or you hire someone, or you exchange your services for certain value with someone. I used to barter a lot of my services for other services. So when because I know feng shui, I know parts. So I talk to the people who have, let's say, certain experiences in legal matters, in financial matters, or business advisory. I do readings for them. They give me the advice. So you can barter. Okay. So that's why it's very useful to actually have a skill set like that. And one of the things that helped me a lot when I first started as a practitioner is that this is a good conversation starter. Barter is a very, very good conversation starter. In most parties, because at the time I was really young, right, in my 20s, people would like to flock to me and say, hey, you know what, by this animal sign, that animal sign, they'll ask me questions, especially when it's closer to Chinese New Year, right? So I'm always willing to share. I'm always willing to talk, as you can see, right? For 5 parts, 5 days, I've been talking Bazi until my voice is like that now. Okay, so I can talk nonstop on the subject that I like. Right, so if you have interest in Bazi and knowledge in Bazi, in most parties and networking, you'll be the one that people talk to. And if you're great at this, you're going to open up doors and open up opportunities everywhere. Okay, so that's, I think, it's definitely a value that all metaphysics practitioners have. Okay, so for me to get all these big clients over time, when I talk to them, they get to know me. That's how I get the big clients. So it's a lot to do with word of mouth marketing. So many people think you have to advertise all the time. No, you actually have to make friends. And what do? You talk Bazi with them, and you're going to get a lot of friends. Okay, and I think it's no pressure talking to friends. All right. Chris Kylie says, if I don't like what my Bazi chart says about me, is there anything I can do to change my path? You can do everything to change your path. That's why you study Bazi. Okay. When I tell the story on was it part 1 that when I was 15 years old, I went to see a fortune teller. Does my Bazi. He did my Bazi, and then he said, you're going to be poor until 45. I told you this story, right? So I didn't like it. I mean, who likes it if someone predicts your future that you're going to be poor and you're only 15 years old, you're going to be poor until 45? I mean, poor means like you're really poor, right? So that's poverty, right? So I didn't like that. And I thought, I got 30 years to change this. So I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to learn Bazi to change my life. And I did. Okay. So that was totally possible. And that's what sparked my style of doing Bazi. My style of doing Bazi is transformational, as you could see. It's not the style of prediction, like, oh, you're going to predict that this type of chart, poor. This type of chart, they have financial problems forever. This type of chart, they will have 3 divorces. That's useless. Okay. Those, I know some people like that sort of thing. What type of life is a black widow, right? You will always, you marry this woman and then bad luck comes to the husband. This old style of reading, I eliminated this type from my Bazi syllabus, and I changed that to a transformation. So if you have this problem, the reason why you become a black widow is because any marriage that you go to and your husband has a problem, only because of certain things, certain skill set that's missing. And if you have the skill set, you won't have this marriage problem anymore, right? And that's what I do in our training. Okay. And you notice in the last 5 parts that we did, it's always about what you can do, what options you take. So that's why it's not to say, oh, my chart has got a DE in my chart. What does it mean? What it means is, if you read the old books, DE is shit. All right. You're going to have a very lost life. Like, oh my God, you're lost. But that's not what we want. All right. If a person is lost only because a person has no life purpose or doesn't know how to find a purpose or develop a purpose, when you understand your needs and your whys strong enough, you will develop a purpose and your life will change. You're no longer affected by the DE in your chart, right? So that's why we must look at the chart from the perspective of what what it says about our life, not what it predicts about our life. You understand what I mean? Okay, a lot of us are able to change things already, because if you look at when Bazi was first developed, 1,200, 1,300 years ago, right? Tang Dynasty. And during those days, people don't live that long. Do you know that? Guys, are you following me? Type of one if you guys are following me, right? People don't live that long. A simple coal might wipe out like 10% of a village, So those days, the medical is not so good. Even the great Zhuge Liang lived to 54 years old, right? And he's like a great grandmaster of metaphysics, so those days, the 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 healthcare is not as good. So today people live longer, and people will live even longer in future because the medical advances today we have, right? So we have already, it's possible to change life. So you can't predict death anymore, okay? Because if it's a health issue and you fix it early, you will live. Like in my chart, for example, my chart has excessive fire, and fire is what they call a possible health issue related to fire, right? Because fire is also the strongest. It's also the potential problem. When fire gets wiped out, then suddenly everything, half my parts get wiped out, right? So that's the good and bad of having a strong fire. So fire represents the eyes, right? So when I was 20 years old, my left eye has cataracts. Now, I am able to change this because, not because I changed the cataract, it's because I changed the lens. Like I go to, nowadays cataract surgery is like a 15-20 minute surgery, right? But if you take this to 50 years ago, right? 50 years ago, do you think people can change it? They can't. So that's predictions are the old style of BaZi reading. Today, a lot of things can change because simply there are ways to overcome it, and if my assessment of this year's BaZi is right, I think this year will be one of those years that might have a breakthrough in cancer treatment. Okay, so even in the near future, cancer becomes treatable, right? So a lot of things can be helped, right? So to answer this question, yes, you can change a lot, okay? But you must know what to change. Hence, studying the BaZi Academy, okay? Studying the BaZi Academy is this sort of asset, this sort of value. It allows you to know what to change, okay? So if you want your life to be better, you must know what to do. BaZi is precisely that thing, that knowledge to tell yourself what to do. Okay, unless of course your life is not important enough, then it doesn't matter, just go with the flow, like what this is, go with the flow, whatever comes. Hopefully there's this universe has got a good plan for you, right? So I don't know, man, this society doesn't really have a lot of good things planned for a lot of people. So you got to plan for yourself. That's the important part here. Okay, now I see a lot of questions. Keep posting. I will answer the questions towards the end. Okay, I can see Alice Freeman Yin Yang has a question, or I can see Cindy Lau's question. I'll do that in the end. All right, let me answer these questions right now first. Revan says, my love pillar clash with NO pillar. Is this an opportunity for transformation? Yes, it is. It's an opportunity for pivot. It's an opportunity for first disruption to happen. And if you play your cards well, it's going to be an opportunity to become better. I don't see this as a problem. I see all these clashes as an opportunity for change. If you divert the change, you control the change, the outcome will always be good. All right. So this question now is from Jesselyn. Okay. Jesselyn says, I heard too many peach blossom is bad. Is it bad that I have two peach blossom, one rooster a month and one an hour? Why would it be bad if people like you? Okay, why would it be bad? It's bad only in the old days because people who attract a lot of attention are called sluts. Today, we call this social media queen, right? We call this social media influencer. We call this superstars, right? So the more attention, if you're likable, now likability with peach blossom is attraction. It does not mean likability. It can only mean likability when you develop things that are likable in the first place, right? A lot of people are not likable. They might be attractive at first, like, oh, this guy is interesting, or this lady is interesting, right? And then after they get to know you, oh shit, you want to slap her, right? Because she got a very bad attitude, right? So to develop likability, we call that charisma in BaZi. And there are 10 types of personal magnetism. We call it personal charisma that you could develop. I don't know which program we have. We actually talk about the details of these personal likability factors. And once you train yourself to do that, you will be able to have that presence that is always mesmerizing to others. and people will be interested in you. And always remember this: people always, when all things being equal, when everything's being equal, people always work with people they like. Okay, you think about it, right? Why do people start business with their friends? Not because they're friends, they're more capable. It's because these are the people they like. That's why they start business with them first. Okay, so to have peach blossom is a gift that if you develop the likability, a value, then the attraction will become value, and the value becomes permanent. Okay, so it's a good thing. Why would it be bad? And I'm pretty sure you're not a slut, so it doesn't matter, right? Those days, in the old days, it's not good because she's too attractive. All right, everything's conservative, so that sort of world. Okay, what happens if you have the peach blossom and DO in the luck pillar, annual pillar, especially if it's missing in the natal chart at the same time of a clash? Is this the same example as you describe? I don't know which one I described, but generally, peach blossom with DO for a lady, all right, it's that DO is a husband star, all right, the potential suitor, that's what it means, all right. So, but a clash means there must be a disruption first before this new thing comes in, all right? So it can mean that if you're together with someone, it's time to ditch this someone and new one coming in. Now, let's say you don't ditch the same old one, then a new one come in, what happens? Now you have a dilemma because he's good, but he's better, right? So what should we do? What should we do? And then you'll be a little bit tempted, okay? So it's a good thing. It's always nice to have choices, right? If you don't have choices, how can your current one improve, right? No? So at least I think it's a good thing. Now you may say, yeah, but what if I accidentally fall in love and all that? Well, that is a personal control, okay? It's personal control. This is important, right? So you have to be responsible. If you're with someone, maybe you want to tell them, you know what, I found someone else, right? So yeah, otherwise, I think you could use that in a good way, such as use it for networking in business. You turn the power of this star into creating a connection with other people, all right, winning contracts. If people like you, it's easy to do deals. Isn't it true? Right? Don't waste it only on relationship. Relationship is, okay, it's important, but it's not the most important thing. Otherwise, you always, there are so many things like making a good living, taking care of your parents, taking care of your kids and all that. Those are probably more important, right? So beware of that. Okay. Next one, Holly C. What if I don't know the time of birth? Can I still get my partner? I answered this question. My both parents I didn't know since my parents live in another city. Well, there are two things you must understand. The first thing is with the hour of birth, you get more information from the chart. Without the hour of birth, you can still read Partum. You can't do purple star astrology though. You can't do Western astrology, but you definitely can do Partum because Partum you still have year, month, and day. So you may say, but that is inaccurate. That's not inaccurate. It's incomplete. That's all it is. Okay. It's like a book has 300 pages. Your book has 275 because there's some pages missing. That's all. Okay. But you can still get the gist of the story. You don't throw away the whole book because, oh my God, I've got missing chapters in this book. Okay. So don't worry about that. And also the second thing about not knowing the exact hour of birth is that when you become experienced in Partum, you can backtrack to test out that 13 charts because there's 13 possible hour charts that you will have. Okay. Now I know you're very eager to find out. Can you tell me how? I can't because you're not experienced enough to do it because you have to verify certain life events that took place in the past and certain desires. So there's certain things you need to verify. You need high-level Partum skills to be able to unlock that part. I know it sucks, but what to do, right? So if you don't have the hour of birth, use what you have first until you become experienced in Partum, then you can backtrack understanding the hour of birth, all right? That's what you need to do. Okay. TKS says, can people do harm if they know my Partum, including knowing my time? But no, they cannot do anything. Don't listen to these old aunties. Oh, they have the Partum. They're going to take you to that old lady in Hong Kong. They're going to take the shoe and beat the shit out of you. No, that is not true at all. Okay, the Partum is just information. All right, they cannot jinx you because they have your Partum. You know how many people born in the same Partum? Okay. Now, having said that, let me answer one more question. If you're born the same Partum, you share the same destiny. No. They share the same energy pattern. But remember, every year, every month, you're making decisions. You're making choices. And each choice, a yes and no, will lead to a different outcome. Think about your life today. If you had not said yes to your current spouse, how would the life be? There's one version of you who's not married to your current spouse. Okay, so there's one version who did, right? And one version who decided to divorce, one version decided to stay. So each one is a branch in that alternate universe. And in metaphysics, each one of this exists. That's why it's called parallel universe. Okay, so we look at our so-called BaZi. Each decision we make makes our life different. We get to activate some things, we get to not enjoy certain things from our chart, right? So our goal is to use as much of our chart as possible. You know what they say, right, in the brain, that we only use about 10% of the brain, and there's 90% that's actually unused. Well, that's about the same with BaZi. A lot of people just maybe 10% of their BaZi abilities, but the other 90% remain dormant. And think about if you just unlock another 10% of your chart, how powerful you would be. That's why we study BaZi. I mean, who else can do that for you unless you go for a consult? But a consult time, people don't spend enough time talking to you about your life. Your life is very long, right? So the best thing to do is learn yourself. Okay, learn yourself to do the readings and do it for yourself, and you will be able to unlock a lot more. Okay, my charts are full of clashes and punishments. Okay, you have an exciting life, Dorothy. Okay, so your clashes and punishments and harms and destructions basically mean life is not balanced. There's going to be lots of ups and downs. And some will say, oh no, I'm so tired of this shit happening in my life. Well, you can say life is exciting and each one is an opportunity to grow and to become better. I mean, it's way better than a dull life, right? Way better than a boring life stuck in a small little studio or apartment somewhere with a stupid job, right? That's the life without clashes and punishments. Okay, so I would always take a chart full of clashes and punishments anytime over a chart without one, because it's not colorful. Okay, so you just have to learn to use the abilities in your chart regardless of how many punishments and clashes you have. They are all potential hidden problems. They're all catalysts, so okay. Bogdan says, can BaZi be useful to recover, keep and improve health? Definitely yes, especially if you already are well versed with TCM. How many of you are TCM practitioners? Are you TCM or you have some background in Chinese medicine or healing? Then BaZi will be a great addition to your healing. Great addition to the studies, because in traditional Chinese medicine, it's all based on 5 elements and stems and branches, and the Bagua is very same with your the BaZi reading. So answer is yes. Samuel F, how does it take for me to create my passion? I notice I'm not very good at things I'm supposed to be good at. Of course, you're not good at. Imagine baby born with the same chart that you have, also not good at. He's only no good at crying. How did that baby become good at something, Samuel? That baby grow up and start to learn, yes or no? There is inclination, but learning takes time. If I say your chart is good at swimming, first you need to learn to swim. And at the first year, you're not that good. Maybe in second year, third year, you become good. You understand what I mean? Like if you look at all sportsmen, right? All sportsmen, when they start, they're not very good at the sports, but they improve faster than other people. So Samuel, here's your question is the typical type of question that people think they expect to be good at something. No, you can only be good with a lot of severe training. With training, your growth will go like this and then suddenly like this over time. Okay, you got to be patient in order to get there. Right, guys, how many of you are following what I'm saying here? Just because it's in your chart and you notice, it's not, I'm not really good at it. The problem is this: you're good at nothing in the first place until you train one of them. Yes or no? Type of me if you guys are following, right, in the chat right now. Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Right? You have to train and develop the skill set, right? Okay, so Sirat is asking this question here. If I want to redesign my own BaZi chart, is it possible? For example, I want to have Phúc sinh quai yan, Thiên Phúc quai yan, Hồng Luyện Thổ Pha. Listen, Sirat, you cannot recreate your BaZi, but you can activate what's available in your BaZi. While your BaZi may not have Phúc sinh quai, what do you want Phúc sinh quai is a fatty star. I hate that star. It's like, it's eat and grow fat star. It's enjoy life and grow fat. All generation people like it. Okay? And obviously, if you want Hong Lun, the red matchmaker and peach blossom, because Sirat, you believe that these are the one that give you relationship. No, God, no. A great relationship is a personality. It's an attitude. If you have the personality and attitude and your value to offer, you will be good with relationship. You don't freaking need a red matchmaker and a peach blossom. I've seen people with great relationships without peach blossom nor red matchmaker. Guys, type of one if you're following me on this. This is super important. I'm glad Sirat asked this question. You don't need a likability star to have great relationships. People like you for various reasons. It could be value that you offer. It could be because you are very interesting in your discussion. If you're good in BaZi, like for example, right? If someone talks to me, I mean, come on. I look at my face, I ain't going to become a Hollywood star, right? I know that since very many years ago, okay? So, but people are attracted to me, not because I look good. I never looked good before, but they attracted me because I have interesting topics to talk about. I can talk about their life. I can talk about their character. I can talk about their issues, and I offer solutions. Do you see what I mean? Okay? Guys. So you don't have to be good looking. You don't have to be pretty or beautiful, but you got to have some value to offer. Yeah, agree? All right? So, and in your chart, you got 8 characters in the chart. Either one of them can be a strength for you. Okay? If you develop that, you're going to be fantastic. And you have great relationships. Okay? And some people say, well, but how do I see betrayal in a relationship? First of all, you need to be unbetrayable. Guys, you should write this down. You need to be unbetrayable. You know, there's a word they say in English, unfuckwithable with. Okay? So they cannot fuck with you because you are that powerful. You're that valuable in a relationship, in a partnership. If it's so easy to betray you, you must ask yourself why you're so weak. That everybody is out there to betray you, right? So you want to develop your strength, your independence, your capabilities, so you are unbetrayable. You understand what I mean? If they do betray you, they're going to be very, very, very bad for them, all right? Because they will lose out big time from yourself, from your value that you're adding. Okay, so they need you more than you need them. That's what you need to do. That's why you study BaZi. That's why you put in effort to study this art. All right, you don't just go read a chart. When will I be good? When will I have my peach blossom? When will people betray me? You know, all this stupid stuff. Right? When will people betray you? Oh my God, what are you going to do? Brace yourself for this upcoming betrayal? No, you're going to make it unfuckwithable. Right? So that they cannot possibly betray you. If they do, they die. All right? So you have to develop your protection like that. How many of you resonate what I just said? Type of me right now. Okay? How many resonate what I say? That you got to be better. Right? You understand what I mean? Yeah? So you become better is the solution to all these problems, right? Why do people desert you in a relationship? Because you're not that good. If you're great, why would they want to throw you away, right? They can't desert you because you're adding value. Yes, so I mean, but they don't love you anymore. You can love yourself, and other people can love you because you're so lovable. Can you not be lovable? Capable of being loved? Yes. If you look at some of the relationships that are breaking, all right, people come to us for readings, and you look at them, they are so tired and drained and demotivated that they're unlovable. Even they don't love themselves, right? I mean, who will love you? The fact that you're in other person's life, you darken their days. You know, you want to be the person that brightens up their day. That because you're there, the whole family celebrates because of you, right? So you can do that by firing at least a few of that pillars in your chart to the maximum capacity. So remember, you're probably only using maybe 5-10% of what your BaZi. The other 90% remains dormant, you know? And so you'll be like, you know, probably Samuel asking the question, you know, I'm not really good at it. That's because you haven't developed it. You understand what I'm saying? Right? You got to develop the skill set. So to develop the skill set, study BaZi. Okay, study BaZi either on your own or you do the BaZi Academy. This is I really want to encourage you to go and take up this training program. If you have not already done so, you need BaZi Academy to unlock the potential. Okay, that's what you need to do, right? This is something that you want to invest in yourself to transform your life. Yeah, that's important. All right, more questions. Hello, I have a question with the Academy. If I purchase, will I have access to the whole course at the start to check if it will be useful for me, or will it open one lesson at a time? My worry too is it might not have time to spend on it and wasted my money. Okay, guys, the class is going to release on 1 week, like 1 or 2 programs, because this is the correct pace in learning. We have done this before. We released programs before. Not only that, is people get overwhelmed, they actually don't study. It's like having you have all the videos in Netflix, but not many people binge everything, right? Some do, but a lot don't. We release it in such a way that also for the coaching is to happen, that people finish lessons 1 and 2, then there's a session on answering the questions. So you get training on that instead of someone who's already on lesson 10 and someone just got started, then they ask very low level questions. That's one of the reasons. Okay, so definitely once it's released over the period of time, you get to keep all of them and rewatch them and binge watch them if you want to. All up to you. Okay, that's how it's done. Okay, Arjuna saying, is BaZi only applicable to a human? Does a country have a BaZi chart? Yes, a country has a BaZi chart. I don't know about dogs or cats though. Okay, because I don't know what they do for career and how to analyze their siblings and their relationship. They seem to make love to everything, right? So no, the BaZi does not apply to cats and dogs, not that I know of, but it does apply to a country. It applies to the founding date of a company, for example. So we can look at that perspective. But some of the components need to change. For instance, when you look at a country's BaZi, the country will be represented by its a connection with others, its geopolitical influence. So the way you look at the chart is different. Okay, not following the style of reading a human being. Ken says, how do we get to learn how to do manual calculation of BaZi? You don't in the class, to be honest. You can do that by purchasing a book called the 10,000 Year Calendar. The 10,000 Year Calendar, in the first few pages, has an instruction of how to plot your BaZi chart manually. It's called the 10,000 Year Calendar. Okay. Rista, I want to ask, can we avoid bad things that might happen by study BaZi? If so, does this mean that we can change our destiny from poor to rich, from sick to healthy, from sad to happy? If so, then the change makes what happens not according to the BaZi stated in our BaZi, right? So I've answered this question on Telegram, but I'm going to answer this here. I like this question. The answer is yes, you will change. Okay, you can change from poor to rich, sick to healthy, and sad to happy. Yes, but this does not change what happens in accordance to BaZi, because your BaZi, you only use maybe 5 to 10% of your chart right now. The happiness, the wealth, the healthy is in the other 90% that you'll never touch. So it's still in accordance to your BaZi. It's just that you never touched it. Okay, you understand what I mean? All right, so Rista, I hope you're already in the BaZi Academy, because you're going to learn to use the other 90%. Okay, that's what you're missing out right now. Okay. So Laura, so let me see. I'm going to answer the questions that you guys are posting as well. So keep posting the question. All right, I will answer shortly. Okay. How do I explain Celestial, Noble, and Taiji? I already explained this before, right? My family members asking me, but I already said that. Let me do it one more time for the benefit of everybody here. Celestial Nobleman is your past life knowledge. Okay, now when I say past life, most people think it is a linear, that is actually past and then there's this life. But what we mean, different lives can be parallel. Right now, there's a version of you who is a very established doctor. There's a version of you who is a very established master in BaZi. There's one version of you who is a very wealthy real estate tycoon, right? So Celestial Nobleman is unlocking that version that has experience in metaphysics. Okay, that's the nobleman. Whereas the Taiji nobleman is a gift in the ability to learn this. Okay, so but you still have to learn it. Just because you're gifted in the piano doesn't mean you're all a child prodigy. You start to play and suddenly everything will just fall into place. There are people who are good in piano, but they still take time to learn, yes or no, right? Like 7 or 8 years, for example. So with Taiji nobleman, like I have 2 Taiji noblemans, I still have to learn it. I can learn it because I have this star, because it's a gift, and I'm glad I used my gift, because if I didn't use my gift, I mean, I probably would end up being an accountant, right? So, not that accountants are not good, they're great. It's just that I don't like numbers. I don't like to do financial stuff, right? So I like doing this. I like helping people. I like talking to people. I like fixing problems. That's very much what I like to do, and I'm glad that I have the skill set to now do that. How many of you love helping people? Okay, how many of you love helping people? It's like you always have this thing to want to assist others. Type the answer in the chat right now. Yeah, a lot of you guys, love helping people. Then you need a tool to help people. Is it a BaZi or Qimeng? Okay, BaZi is easier. Yeah, so because it's understanding people's life, right? Qimeng is not that it's difficult. It's just that not many people know what Qimeng is at first. Yeah, so they need a bit more time to explain. Whereas BaZi, you can say it's astrology, and most people know it's astrology. So it's more common. That's the reason why it's easier for you to get a consult with BaZi as opposed to getting a consult for Qimeng at first. Okay, so that's the part. And also Qimeng, someone asked just now, was a question I saw here. Yeah, I'll post this question out. Okay, so this is, sorry for another silly question, out of curiosity, and annual clashes. Okay, does blood donation charity donation helps to lessen the clash? No. Okay, the reason is you don't know whether it's related to blood or not. Okay, a clash does not necessarily mean a car crash. You understand? So why would it be a problem? Well, why would you go and donate blood out of no reason? I mean, you can do it for good reason to help others, but not necessarily, unless it's specifically related to a life-threatening accident, which, of course, in a very detailed level analysis, you might be able to pick that up. But in most cases, it's not. Therefore, no point wasting blood. Okay, I saw this question earlier. Just curious, what is the difference between BaZi and Qimeng? The biggest difference between BaZi and Qimeng is BaZi is about personal destiny, right? Your personal character traits, talent, interests, abilities. It also talks about your grand life path and what are the potentials in your life in different aspects, how you could maximize the potential and opportunity and so forth. Qimeng is based on forecasting a specific activity. Like, for example, next week, I am going to start launch my campaign for this new product. I want to know this campaign, what I plan. Is there any issues that I need to aware of to take this to the next level, or is it going to block my launch? Any possible problems? So Qimeng takes that project, do a forecast, a 360 view on it, and say, you have this problem that will come in. Oh, that's going to be one asshole is going to do this, and you got to make sure that you don't have this problem. So you forecast that specific project or that activity. BaZi cannot do that. BaZi tells you, okay, this is the right career path. This is the skill set you need to learn. This is what you need to plan for the next 1 year, 2 years. Okay, the opportunities or the challenges. But it's not going to say, if you're going to launch this pair of socks next month, it's going to be successful. The BaZi doesn't do that. The Qimeng does that. Okay, so that's the biggest difference between the two. Does this answer your question already, guys? Yeah. Okay. Some of you are asking the question, right? So again, to remember, BaZi Academy closes. The enrollment closes on March 19, midnight, GMT +8. That's Malaysia time. And so once it does, you won't get to enroll for another year, and you might miss out on all this. You got to wait another year. Now you think there's no cost in this. I just wait another year. What's the big deal? Don't forget, the cost of not doing something is often way higher than the cost of progress. So you're missing out on understanding the other 90% of your life. You're missing out on helping people. You're missing out in detecting health-related issues in advance. You're missing out on detecting opportunities. You're missing out on the ability to avoid costly mistakes. I don't know how much that means to you, but if you would like to get this earlier, then rather than wait a year, then I think you should allocate time to study BaZi Academy first. Okay? Noreen says, I want to attract romantic relationship this year. Year of monkey and month of rooster, day of rat. What shall I do? You should be romantic in the first place. Okay. So listen, you look at your chart, just animal signs alone cannot tell. You must understand what is your profile. What is your strength? Are you a herding officer profile? Are you eating God profile? Are you direct wealth profile. Now find out what is the charm. There must be 3 types of charm for every single one of them. Find out which is your profile, what is the charm. Do that. Activate means you now bring out the skill, because it's a hidden thing. Remember, 90% of your life, you don't know that you're actually that charming, right? It's just that you never develop it. So all this while you've been an asshole, right? Until one day it's like, oh shit, I need to stop being an asshole. I start being attractive, charismatic in some ways, all right? In some ways that I'm interesting. So I want to develop these things. And once you do, you will have unlimited romantic relationships, until the point where you say, oh my God, I'm not going to put a stop to this because these people keep coming, all right? So there's so many ways to become better, but people just wait as if there's one dude or one girl out there that's going to come into your life and love you for the fool that you are in. No. Be better. You understand what I mean? Be better. So be valuable, right? Be intelligent. Have great conversations, right? So find out what's good in your chart. At least there must be 1 or 2 things. Do that, okay? That's what you need to do. So, evolutiva. This evening, I will watch yesterday class, so not sure if you mentioned something regarding my question. Here it is. I've heard you and others that the year pillar is our industry, among other things. Could you explain what does it mean? I understand that it has something to do with our career and work. It represents the pool of interested people. It represents your target market. It also represents your audience. It also represents your network. It represents your field of interest. It also, amongst other things, represents your grandparents. Okay, so if you, whatever is in that year column governs that opportunities related to the big picture, the industry, the market, the entire profession, for example. It's the big picture. That's what it means. Okay. I still have difficulty. I answered this question on Telegram already. I'm just trying to answer it again here for the benefit of those who missed out on this. Okay. So I have difficulty in charging a fee since the average monthly income is so low here, US $300. So I'm not confident enough to ask for $30. My higher rate is at $20 and is still considered as expensive from the feedback I got. For example, right? I do the reading just online by Google Meet. Is there any advice for me? Well, of course, I answered this before. I'm going to answer this again. You see, your personal insecurities does not reflect market reality. Your view should write this down. Okay? Your personal insecurity does not reflect what is real in the market. So, you see, when I first started in BaZi, I was only 19 years old. Okay? At 19 years old, I have the same insecurity as you have, Imas. I was thinking, who's going to pay me to do a BaZi reading? I'm just a kid, and why would they pay me when there's so many other masters out there? And I was so because of I'm 19 years old, I thought that the people's median income at that time would be like 1,800 ringgit. I mean, I couldn't charge that, right? If I charge $50, it's too much money, ringgit, right, at that time. So very insecure, right? Then I realized that I'm mixing with the wrong market. As I grow up, I get to know wealthier people, and wealthier people introduce me to their market. I got into the wealthier market only because I'm very interesting. I love to share information. I love to talk about BaZi, and I don't calculate like, I spend time talking about BaZi, then I'm going to charge you money for it. No, it's like this 5 days, right? There are those that are in a VIP. There are those that I give out for free. You all think it's free, but it actually costs me money to do it, to actually do the 5 days, to have the entire team, to do the broadcast, to do the slides, to do all this. It actually cost me money to do a free event, okay? So, and you can see some of the demands that came from the chat, right? Some of them are pretty difficult, right? So, but I still do it because I actually like to do it. So, because I do so many of this, and I talk to so many people, and some of the wealthy people, they think, hey, this guy is cool, And so I got exposed to the market who can actually afford. And some of them will say, hey, you do a lot. I would like to engage you, do a reading or do a consult. And so that's how I build it up. So that if you're looking at the median, the average low income, of course, there will be people like this, right? You might as well help them for free, right? But if you want to help the rich people, have rich people problems too. They're also human beings, right? And if you're friend with them, you connect well with people, you're going to get the consult, you're going to get the readings, you can help a lot of people. Okay, so there is a market, and plus today the world is smaller. You could connect, you can consult online, right? Look at how I'm talking to you guys. Some of you guys are what, in a different country right now? Which country are you guys in? Australia? Anyone? Right? Australia, America, right? Japan, Germany, right? Singapore, right? You have Indonesia. How many of you guys here are from a different country than Malaysia right now? See what I mean? Right? See what I mean? You could, why are you only looking at your little community where you could actually connect outside of your community? Okay. And if you think that there is no market for $300, then I can tell you there's a market for 3,000. There's also a market for 30,000 readings, $30,000. There is. You just haven't seen it yet. Okay. Don't give yourself the excuse, because I'm not famous enough and all that. It partly true, but also partly not yet true for you because you haven't done it yet. You haven't built your reputation. You haven't built a credibility. You gotta pay the price to become known in the industry. Do you guys agree? You have to pay the price to become known, to contribute a lot, right? So even like this 5 days event, right? I mean, I get to connect with a lot of you. Some of you guys will go on to the BaZi Academy. Some of you might not be in there. I still connect to you guys, right? So I'm pretty sure at some point you will see the value. Okay, I just want to convince you that you should do it earlier than later, because at some point, a lot of you guys didn't take last year and you're in here this year, right? And so they joined this year. Some people saw me like 4 years ago and they're here. How many of you have met me some years ago? And this is the first time you actually go through a program, right? You see the chat, right? So I would urge you to do it faster, because every year wasted is a year wasted opportunities. That's the difference, okay? So sooner you can do this, the better you can get on track and change your life, okay? And just want to give a shout out to Natasha. I did this on Telegram as well. Look at this, right? She did her 3 consults, okay? She did her 3 consults. And I thought this is really, really good. The courage to do that, and being not so prepared and be able to do it without notes. This is amazing. Again, if your heart is pure like Natasha, just on helping people, you are going to be able to do a good reading. A good reading is not how much you remember. It's not a test of memory, guys. It's a test of sincerity. Are you sincere in helping people? You should write this down. It's not a test of memories. It's a test of how sincere you are in helping someone. If you're genuine in helping someone, people know. Okay? People will know. And then they feel that you help them. Okay? So having more information allows you more avenues to help. Having less doesn't mean you cannot help. Okay? You must believe that everyone you get to meet right now is a reason for meeting you. Right? The power in the universe, the higher power has placed that person at this time to talk to you. That's why I feel when I first started, I'm just a kid and 19 years old when I started consult. The people that, of course, at that time, my skill level, my knowledge is not even 10% of what I know now. I'm just a kid about 19 years old, right? How much do I know about life that can advise people, right? But then the people that I've helped back then has been with me until today, because that time that was the right message for them to hear. So when you are gifted with the three gifts, at some point there's a reason why these are the people that are meant to be your clients or meant to listen to you. So do a good job. Okay, so do a good job in that way. All right, don't think that I'm going to mess their life up. No, not like that. You're going to do what you can, help them with whatever knowledge you have. How many of you agree with this type of me right now? Me right now. Just do what you can. Okay, like how Natasha is doing this. And seriously, the doors are open. If you want to charge $30, $300, $3,000 someday, all right, it's possible. All right, and a shout out to Vincent Koh as well, who managed to get the readings done, which is fantastic. And then just simple day master stuff, right? Simple resource star stuff. They already can do the reading. Okay, and you guys can too. All right. So $30, $100, all right, two times 2 readings at $100 or 4 readings at $50 is already enough to pay for the installment for your training. Exactly what I did when I was learning. I told a story when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, university time, no money, right? So I was doing the readings, the $50 readings. I did $50, and I was in Australia at that time. Okay. Australia, right? So $50 is a big thing for me, right? So I remember at that time I got a little bit more popular. Then I raised my price to $100. So I actually collected. I saved up the money. I used some for my skiing trips. I'm learning. I know that my knowledge is far from complete. And so whatever I saved up, I went to Hong Kong. I told you guys a story, right? I went to Hong Kong to study the metaphysics from the Hong Kong Feng Shui masters back then. And I remember the one master, Master Lam. He's passed away already in 2008, I think. When I went to him, it was year 2000, and he told me, I can teach you privately because your basics is so bad. You come from Malaysia, you can't even speak Chinese properly, right? So it's going to be $1,000 per lesson. I said, $1,000 per lesson. I kid you not, this is a real charge, $1,000 per lesson. And then I said, how many lessons do I need to take? I said, your level is so low, you need 40 lessons. I heard that, I nearly died, okay? 40 lessons. Oh no, what should I do? Right? So I can't go back to my dad and ask for money. Right? First of all, he would not give $40,000 and he needs to take care of my brothers who are all going to school at the time, So what do? I went back to consult, and with the $50, $100, and some feng shui consults, I pushed up to $300, and over time, I actually collected that amount of money. And I went to study. And I was paying attention because I paid for this stuff. Okay, so it's a long story. Like this is how I learned. It's not easy. Okay, and it's way more expensive than what you guys are paying for education today, because today is more mass market, right? But those days, under a personal tutor, it's $1,000 for one session, and the master is a bit overweight. He talks and he falls asleep. Oh my God, don't sleep, because you sleep, my money is gone. So he talks the most when he's eating dim sum. So I was eating dim sum with him, and he tells, you see, he tells a lot. So he loves to eat. So I like to eat with him because I get more information. So that's how I learned back in those days. Okay, so all this stuff now about BaZi, you guys are learning in the simple BaZi Academy, more structured. In those days, there's no structure. There's hand notes. All right, copy your notes. That was it. Okay, today you got study BaZi Academy, it comes with notes, right? So here, spoon feed, So that's the difference. All right, guys. Okay, let me continue. All right, so the next part will be about the FAQs about the BaZi Academy itself. Then I'll answer a lot of questions that you guys hear. You guys have a lot of questions here, right? About twins, and I got the 3 gifts. What do I do? Right? I'll answer that shortly. Okay. So here's the question. I'm a beginner. Will I be able to keep up? The answer is yes, definitely, guys. Yes, definitely. It's a step-by-step modular basis. It's a framework. I always teach you the framework, guys. Right? That's you can say it's my strength in teaching for the last 30 years, almost 30 years. And it's a step-by-step, structured, good pacing, and it's never, ever overwhelming. All right? That's why it's released periodically in a couple of days, within a week, for example, you get the class. So you study it as it comes out, and it's tested, it's refined over the years, it's designed over 3 decades. So yes, it's good for beginners. Do I need to know Chinese? No, it's in English, but there's also 10 languages in the subtitles. So you can watch the subtitles. If you feel that it's better, you get some, you're from Romania, then you want the different language, right? There will be subtitles that can assist you, okay? So yeah, but otherwise it's in English. If you can understand me now, you can understand the training. It's too expensive. Well, if you're going to use it and use the heck out of it, then it's not expensive. But if you're not going to use it, then yes, I do agree, it's going to be expensive if you don't use it. So if you're going to use this to change your life, you're going to use this to prevent problems, to prevent a breakup in your relationships, prevent a third-party problem, solve a current relationship issues, solve a career issue, boost your career, enhance your investment strategies, then it's not expensive. Okay? Think about the cost of closing the gap. I mean, we all write down, right? What's the cost of the gap? So if your gap from where you are right now to your goal is that you want to make $500,000 in a year and you are now at 300,000, that means the gap is 200,000. Every year you don't do something about it, it's 200,000 more, right? So over 10 years is 2 million. So this closed the gap. If you take this 200,000, what's 2,000 compared to 200,000 is 0.01% of it. So that's how you see whether this is valuable for you or not. If you don't have a cost, you already achieve all your goals, then of course you don't need it. But if you haven't achieved your goals, then how much is your goals worth? You think about that. This is an education for you to get closer to your goals. All right. So next one is, are there any payment plans? Yes, starting at $220. There is a payment plan, and there's also customized payment plans if you're Malaysian or Singaporean, which goes up to 12 or 36 months available. That works out to be about just $60 if you take a 36 months plan. So go for it. I mean, $60 is not a lot for a month. It's definitely within the range of comfort that most people can. And so talk to my team, right? Talk to my team to give you all the information about the different types of payment plans. And you study just like what I did, study and consult. If it's $60 a month, right, 36 months, you just have to do one consult or two consults, you pay for it. Okay, so do that. Now, next one is, how do I claim this as tax deductible? Well, if you have a company, if you are working for an organization, we can issue you an invoice, right, as part of your training, then it's tax deductible. Okay, listen, tax is one of the biggest thing you need to pay, regardless. You have to pay tax anyway. So if it's tax deductible, right, you are actually using money that you otherwise pay for taxes, because now you're using for your personal training. Okay, so it's not taking away from you. So, and companies, right? Companies, if you have your own company, you're running your own freelance, this is considered personal development. It's tax deductible. So you want to look into that as well. Okay, you want to check with your local authority for the differences. I think they will give you a better picture of this. Okay, I'm not sure if I have the time, guys. This is a program where it is super flexible. So you only log on to watch the tutorials when you're free. It's not live cast. It's available. You watch it. That's it. Okay. So it's not. It fits to anyone's schedule anytime. And as long as you have an internet connection, you can even watch it on a phone anywhere while commuting to work. Okay. So that's the thing. All right. When is the class? Well, it's online, guys. When and where is online? So after the 19th, we're going to close enrollment, and on 20th itself, we're going to open up the classes already. Okay. So get ready for it. Class begins very, very soon at the end of enrollment. All right. So don't miss this. All right. I tried similar courses before, but didn't see results. Of course, right? Because there's no structured learning. And I'm also skeptical by nature, right? No results because there's no proven framework for you to get them. We have a framework now. There's, people don't get results because there was no support, no community. We have a big community here. All right. That's the difference. Look at how many people attended a session of our 5-part training. All right. So a lot of people. Now, the community for BaZi and Joey Up Style is a lot of people. Okay. Can I pay at your office? Can I pay in ringgit or Singapore dollars? Absolutely. Just contact my team in Singapore or in Malaysia. The instructions are on the page. My team will post it up here one more time. Where can I sign up? Again, BaZiAcademy.com/join. Okay, I'll post the link up here one more time. Okay. And how long do I have to access the program? Lifetime, guys. You have lifetime to access the program. So definitely enough time. Okay. I thought I could just learn this for free online. Well, of course you can. There's a lot of YouTube videos that I've posted and free stuff. The problem is, you have to weed out the noise. Not every module or everything that you learn online free is actually applicable or accurate. And so learning that way is a long game, and you got to weed out a lot of false information. Whereas if you follow a structured learning, you get to the outcome much faster. Okay. Can I upgrade to BaZi Mastery Circle later? The answer is no. You have to upgrade it now because you're joining right now. You get a good price for this upgrade. If you do it later, it's going to be at the full price, and you miss out on a couple of the monthly training. So for those who don't know, BaZi Mastery Circle is a online group, like a membership, where every month I give new content, new training every single month. Okay, and it's never repeating, always moving forward. So it's like all the practitioners, the seasoned practitioners, masters are in there. I train a lot of masters, guys, so they're all in the mastery circle. Okay, so but you can upgrade within that 30 days. After that, then it's no longer available. All right. So what if it doesn't work for me? Well, there's a 30-day money back guarantee. All right, we said that. So why don't you try it first? 100% risk is on me. You try it first, and if you show me you did the work, it doesn't apply if you didn't do the work. All right, show me that you actually tried and did the readings. You can't do it, and then you don't like it. Then I will give you an LPR training, life potential reading training that's worth $100 as a parting gift. All right. This training, the content's already inside the BaZi Academy, as in it's a repeat in some of the modules anyway. But I think it will help you at least get more of this. And as a thank you for even trying. Okay, that's how confident I am that BaZi Academy can change your life. All right. Am I too old to start? You're not dead, right, guys? You're not dead. You can still learn. Do you have kids? Do you have grandchildren? Do you have friends? Do you have people you want to help? Right? Then yes. Great. Next one is I'm a Tribe Plus member. Well, highly recommended to join then, because BaZi is the foundation of many other Chinese metaphysics training. So you should be, as a Tribe Plus member, to get some training, because in this training, it gets you to understand why the report's written like this every single month. Okay? What's the difference between BaZi Academy and BaZi Mastery Circle? In BaZi Academy, will give you everything that you need to learn BaZi online. It's a training program. The BaZi BZMC is BaZi Mastery Circle. It's a membership that I created for consistently every single month, a new training program. Every single month, one session, you learn something new as a continuous training. So even if you are a beginner, a master, you learn something every single month. It could be on a case study. It could be on a specific topic. Just last month, we talked about 60 pillars in specific scenarios. So there's always some topic. When upcoming, we're going to be talking about the 12 growth phases, for example, in detail, or the spiritual aspect of BaZi. So there's a lot of different topics we'll address. Okay, that is ongoing training. Okay, all right. So what if I missed the enrollment deadline? Well, the enrollment deadline is 19th of March, midnight. That's tomorrow, midnight, Malaysia time. If you missed it, you wait 1 year, or a bit more than 1 year before it reopens. So you don't want to miss that. Okay. And why should I pick BaZi over others, say an MBA program? Well, as if your job, career, and life revolves around people, then BaZi is definitely a pick, because you have to understand people, and everything we need in life comes from people. If you understand people, you can work people better, you can get help better, and you can influence people better. All right. And am I an advanced practitioner or a coach? What should I do? Well, if you have already done BaZi but from elsewhere, then join the BaZi Academy, because you get new perspectives, a proven framework, my framework. And I would say is a quite different perspective than probably what you've learned before, because I'm focusing on life transformation, is what to do with your life. Or if you've already done that, then BaZi Mastery Circle is the correct place to be, because that is ongoing training every single month. Okay, so that's what the training is about. All right. Okay, so so for the alumni members, there could be something special. So please check this. If you have done BaZi Academy before in the past, please scan this. Please scan this, and then there is something special for you guys. I don't know if we already sent the email out like 12 times. If you didn't get that email, it's either A, you're not an alumni member, or it's going to spam. All right. So please scan this and get all the information for alumni members, meaning you've already done BaZi before. Okay. Now I'm going to open the floor for Q&A. All right. For Q&A, if you have the questions, go ahead and post this. I will answer them right here. Okay. All right. Let's see the questions. First one. This one is, if a BaZi chart, this is from Bogdan, if a BaZi chart has certain energy of the 10 gods, and the person take action, improve, or use better that initial energy, how does the BaZi chart changing? The BaZi chart doesn't change. Okay, the BaZi chart is like a mapping of your energy since birth. What changes is what you get as a result of using the energies of the stars. Okay, that's the reality. So your chart doesn't change. Okay, what changes is how you use the stars. So you're still going to remain, let's say 70%, 80%, 90%, right? It's just how receptive you are towards whether you should be more conscious of the problems as a result of this star, or you should be more conscious of a certain gift that you have so you can develop it further. It's for self-development. Okay, so that's the nature of this. All right, let's see here. The animal of the day master is more important than animal of the month or year. No, there's no such thing as which animal sign is more important. It's only important for perspectives. What perspective are you looking at? Your day master animal sign, it's important when we are analyzing something related to our personal relationships. So for personal relations, we look at that animal sign. But when it comes to career, then the month animal sign becomes more important. Okay, and it becomes the focus point, not more important, but focus point in that reading. Okay. This one. In my natal chart, there's a little gray box on a day, sickness, month, grave, year, death. Can say it's very worrying in luck pillars. There are others. Any chance to share? Nope. This is in the advanced courses. All right. And firstly, don't take the name from the as it means. The names are scary because it's direct translation from Chinese, but it does not mean death. It means a different 12 different virtues. All right, 12 different virtues. So at this point in time, it's too premature for you guys. Remember, this chart is also used by professionals, and you guys are just beginners. All right, so that's why I always want to give only the first page for beginners, because the moment I release the rest of the pages, you're gonna have questions like this. Oh my God, what does this mean? What does that mean? Oh my God, I'm confused. Because there's too much overwhelming stuff. All right, so just ignore this for the time being. It's not useful for a beginner anyway. Okay, and don't worry about it. Nobody told your mind to get worried. Your mind automatically want to get worried about it. So just don't turn it off. All right. Okay. So when we read the individual pillar like the year, do we correlate the heavenly stamp, heavenly branch, and hidden stamp? Yes, we do. We read the information that is inside those boxes. Yes, we do. Okay. Let's see here. When I read my second client's day master, he said what I'm reading is not what he is, even though he's his main profile. Yeah, the first three profiles. Some people develop the third profile due to his or her life experiences more. That's why we always use the luck pillars together with the first, with the reading, because that's how your life is developed. Okay, you go through that experiences, so more of the second or third profiles becomes dominant. Okay, it's just like if you grow up in a family of doctors, there's a high chance that you're going to be either a doctor, or at least you know something about medical or medicine, because that's what the whole family is growing up. You go through that. So it's like me, my family is going to talk about feng shui because that's what I do. So they'll be more inclined to. It's not necessarily that they're good at it, but their profile will obviously be more leaning towards this activated because they just listen to me all the time. You understand what I mean? Okay. So yeah, you got to be flexible enough to flip between the couple of profiles, because that's why a live reading is very different than a computerized reading, because we know, oh, this person actually developed more of the third profile than the first one. Okay. If we are stuck with no access to the internet and we need to seek help urgently, can we use any default direction or based on our animal sign or animal sign, the year, month, day, hour to seek guidance? No, only Chiman can do that. BaZi cannot do this. BaZi is not for you to pray to this direction. No, that's a Chiman thing. Chiman can do that. Okay. Let's see. I'm just trying to bring up more questions here. How does Ming Gong affects natal chart? Well, it's your spiritual palace. Yeah. So it doesn't affect your natal chart. It just explains your spirit. So spirit can be, you see, there are three layers that make up our life. One is our divine. We call this the soul. So the soul palace is the conception palace. So the God or higher power, incepted us with a spark of divinity, and then our life starts. So that's conception. You conceive the spirit at the start, right? So we call it soul palace. So the soul will then develop an image. That image is called the spirit. That's your mind. Okay, your spirit and mind is the same thing. So Mengkong is the mind or the spirit palace. So this spirit doesn't reincarnate. It is the soul that reincarnates or have a new human experience, and in that new human experience, they'll have a different spirit. Okay, so there are many kindred spirits. So in your life right now, there could be other versions of you. I mean, this version you are Johnny, the last version you probably are Sandy, and then the previous version you are George. But they're all the same, came from the same soul. All right. So many spirits make up the one soul, and many souls make up God. All right. So the unity, all the souls are together, that vast power, divine. We are just a spark of it, and there are many different souls, right? Different human experiences. So when we, one of the questions that that people ask me in the Chiman program, but I think I can answer here is, if people reincarnate, why are you still praying to this person in heaven, right? Or you're trying to connect to your deceased loved ones? You already reincarnate, right? If the theory in reincarnation is real, then you cannot be praying to this person or you cannot be connecting to this one because they're already gone. No. The soul has gone on to experience a new life, but that spirit, that version stays behind. So right now, the spirit of, let's say you're connecting to Zhuge Liang or the great ancestors, right? The great teachers, the spirit version is there, while their soul might be, different, right? Or stop reincarnation altogether. We don't know, right? But that version of that person, that knowledge is there. You understand now? Okay. So your Mengkong talks about this version of you. Okay. Long story, right? All right. Any more questions here? All right. Can you share what is usually the first thing we tell the client to have a wow factor? The first thing is, how can I help you? All right. Don't try and impress the client. You see, this is the wrong thing. The first thing you should not do is try and impress the client. Because when you're trying to impress, that means you're there it's for you. You want to be impressive. No, you're impressive when you're helping people. When you can explain why certain things happen and how they can overcome it. That is the most important part that I feel in every reading. It's not an astrological performance. That attitude is wrong. Okay, the attitude should be, I'm here to help you. That's why you're not here to convince people. I'm not convinced with BaZi and all this nonsense. Sometimes I meet people like this, but not very often. Not now. I mean, now that I've established myself as, the authority in this field. But back in the day when I first started, I have people like, I don't believe this crap. They tell me this. Then you know what I say? I'm only here to help. I'm not here to convince. All right? I'm not here to convince you of the truth of BaZi. If you need my help, I'll be there to help. And one day you will come to me for help. And sure enough, they do. Okay? So that's what you need to say. Got it? Okay. Let me see here. Some people are afraid to reveal their birth time because they're afraid that people might harm them using black magic. Can I change their mind and that? Yeah, of course. You can try and educate them, right? But no point trying to convince them. Then just use year, month, and day. Don't need to use the time of birth, right? There are some people who are not educated. They think that the time of birth is what they can use to jinx someone. This is no help from some people who talk about this shit. You cannot. If it's so easy, we could have just destroyed Donald Trump or destroyed some terrorists just by knowing their date of birth. There are only 13 charts. Let's just kill all 13 on that day, right? Hello, Jay. You understand what I mean? One day only got 13 charts. If someone wants to assassinate somebody with the use of BaZi black magic, I just have to plot 13 charts and write their name on top and kill all 13, right? I'm just going to die. Of course not, right? It's not going to happen that way. So don't worry about this time of birth. There's no way they can jinx you. Okay. What factor to check in BaZi to know if they are possible for a second marriage? Asking for a friend. There are 15 ways you can see that. 15. Okay. So And it's not always second marriage is a bad thing. All right, second marriage is a good thing. All right, second time better. So what's the problem? So I can't explain all 13 here because this is a Q&A session. When you learn BaZi, you will discover the ways to see it. All right, like for example, somebody might have a combination of hidden combination with the indirect wealth for a guy, right? So there's something out there, and then there's a destruction in the chart, or there's a combination in the spouse chart. So all this sort of give you a hint on the roving eye of this person, right? And also, if the marriage is not a happy marriage because this person is emotionally unstable, so whoever he or she marries, he will want to have a second one because he is or she is unsteady, right? It could be the person. So I need to find out what that is. So it's not just one word in the BaZi that says, "Oh, this means you have second marriage." It's not like that. Okay, it's a collective reading. All right. Okay, so I think I've covered quite a lot here. Yeah. Does BaZi analysis work on 22 months toddler to understand his profile to avoid terrible scenario for kids? Yeah, of course. I don't think you need to avoid terrible scenarios. I think you need to develop the kid in such a way that he becomes a uh, a, s- um, a useful person or a successful person. That's what you should be doing. Okay. All right. I'm strong water element herding offers in my BaZi chart. I've been in the banking industry for over 20 years. I'm too late to switch industry. First of all, you don't have to switch industry. You know, develop your abilities. Okay, a herding officer element must focus on the skill set of connecting people, right? Performance, speaking, dazzling, mesmerizing, sales, right? That sort of thing. So you develop the skill, you can still excel in the banking industry. That's what you need to do. Not necessarily change industries. Industries is just representing opportunities. Like, for example, what industry do you think I am in? Benson, what industry do you think I'm in? What do you think I'm in, guys? Yeah? You think I'm in metaphysics? No. I When I work with the banks, I'm working with the finance industry, correct? When I work together with carpenters, then I'm in the carpenting or wood industry. When I work together with people in medical, then I'm in the wood industry, for example. So is my job role that is more important, yes or no? Yes? You get my point? Okay. So when I want to connect with the market, the industry tells me which market I might get better opportunities. That's how you should use the information, not change industry all the time. I mean, they're so troublesome, right? You got that? Yeah. Now you know. Okay. Great, great, great. Okay, so one more time, I'm going to put this up. Remember, this BaZi Academy is the thing, and I urge you to enroll in the BaZi Academy. This is the closing. Tomorrow is the closing. Don't wait until the closing because you might miss the deadline. You missed it. We're going to be very, very strict on this. So please join the academy, enroll this year right now. Okay. So enrollment is going to close tomorrow night, midnight. You want to take advantage of this. And all investments have risk except for this. You can try it for 30 days first. So sign up now, try it first. And then after 30 days, you say you don't like it, then you get your money back. All right. Try that first. You don't want to miss out on all this stuff. There's the secrets of the 5 elements in our package this year. Just for this alone is $1,997. Okay. And we do sell this on a la carte. The core identity atlas, the one thing that everybody is looking for is the core identity atlas. If you're in career, you are in HR, you are in PR, right? You're dealing with people, with students, with kids growing up. Core identity atlas is the key. All right, it's the key. In fact, this alone is super interesting. It's a conversation opener. You could go to any parties and any meetings and be the person that connect, because you can talk about that. You do it for free, you do it reading, or you can charge money for it, up to you, right? So the BaZi Explorer 1-year subscription, you get that. Now, again, you can plot by hand. It just takes time, all right? All the information to plot by hand is in the 10,000 calendar or online. You can actually do it for free, all right? So the subscription to this just makes it easier for you, okay? That's the then the general ticket to the BaZi Academy Summit is going to be the thing, and you want to be part of this, okay? So it's $220 to get started with this. You think about the cost of tax that you're paying every single year, right? If you're paying tax, this could be a very good tax deductible session that you could use for your self-improvement. And also think about the goals you're about to reach that you might miss out on. So if you can reach your goals easier, you develop your skill set faster, what is the cost of closing this gap? Right? This is probably just a 0.1%, a 0.01% perhaps of that entire cost itself to develop this skill set. So please join us in this training, and links and the scan is all here. Just scan it and find all the information there. Okay. So listen, last parting message. You're not designed to be average, guys. You're not meant to live a life of struggle. If you're serious about your future, then let's get to work, guys. Okay? So, BaZi Academy 2025. Thank you so much for joining. Okay.